6:30. Bit later on tonight, gotta admit, at Tropical Nomad, and you'll hear Ichi and Bella and Guzman and the Wheels of Steel. So look, tonight, as you know, we focus on Destination Indonesia. Now, Destination Indonesia, why? Because we believe Bali, that's where we are, Island of the Gods. We have a phenomenal opportunity to showcase some incredible stories of some people doing some incredible things. And it's driven by that, inspiration is caught, not taught. So inspiration is caught, not taught. And as we're here in Indonesia, unity and diversity, that Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, underpins the show, right? So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that tonight we have, it's our first collaboration for SpeakuP Monday. It's been 3 years of doing this. Is number 163. We're approaching 200. And Freedom Day Bali is an extremely important initiative that we're going to get into in a minute. And Richard Harrington, our guest, who was already financially free at the age of 24, born in South Africa, has an amazing story to go with that. But there's a very strong foundational reason why we're doing this, and a very strong intention that will be revealed very, very shortly. So now, if you're wondering about financial freedom, because right now we obviously live in a day, in an age, in a time where it's important that we know how to create wealth. And we know how to do that multiple times to ensure that we create a legacy for our children, if you have kids, or to create a sense of freedom in our lives for those of you which need that right now. So if that's what you're after tonight, you've come to the right place. Richard is a serial entrepreneur, investor, and a philanthropist. Now, my name is Robert Ian Bonnick. I'm your host, and I am an advisor. So I help businesses and large inbound tourism operations find success through strategic partnerships. In other words, I connect people. So welcome to the show. Now, I'm going to look this way. Today is a bit of a different setup for us. I'm going to be looking at a monitor instead of looking at Richard sitting next to me, which will be quite interesting. But Richard, welcome to the show, my brother.
Yes, thanks for having me, my brother, and welcome to your audience as well.
Wonderful. So look, to get us started, look, we know a little bit about your life. This is, I think, the second or third time that you've been on SpeakuP Monday. But I think a great place to start would be, Freedom Day Bali, right? Freedom Day Bali. What is it about, and how did it come about?
Yeah, so to be more specific, Freedom Day Bali is based on financial freedom, because we know many people want to be financially free, but they have no idea what that means. And basically, financial freedom is when the income from your assets is enough to sustain your lifestyle, that you no longer have to work. When you work because you love to work or you want to work, not because you need to work, because you are financially free, because of your assets. And how did it become about? I lived in Bali last year, and then we went on holiday. We went to 5 countries in 5 months, and we came back here in June. And I realized, what? Life is really short. And if someone lives their whole life in debt, are they really free? Like, debt is just modern day slavery. So where I come from, South Africa, we're all politically free. But I mean, I'm like 2/3 of the country, they're poor. And it's not a South African issue. It's a global thing that the gap between the haves and the have-nots are just widening and widening. It's a global issue. And so the vision is to have Freedom Day on the 1st of every month, in 12 countries per year. And to wherever we go, to take freedom with us, and to let people start the first day of the month with that mindset of freedom. because life is way too short to live any other way. If you want to live free. And we can unpack it. What does freedom mean to you? What does freedom mean to me? And I really love that word. It's such a loaded word, freedom.
You know, this thing about freedom, right? As you mentioned, for different people, freedom means different things. We have, financial freedom, spiritual freedom, religious freedom, freedom of voice, right? So that's freedom of speech, right? So when I say or ask or bring up the word freedom to you, like, what is the most important types of freedoms that come up for you?
Yeah, I think, excuse me. I think the best way to approach freedom is to use the famous quote from Mandela that said, use your freedom so that you can enhance the freedom of others. Because there's a danger that if people are free, they then use that freedom of speech or freedom of religion to then impose on other people's rights and values and their religion. So you want to make sure that you are using your freedom for the purpose. And the purpose of it is to set other people free. And so when we speak about freedom, it's now that I'm free, now what? Let me use my freedom to enhance the freedom of those around me. And it was also Mandela that said, he got early release many times and he rejected it. They told him, Mandela, we'll release you. We'll buy you a nice house. Just stop this freedom fighting. Stop this political freedom. And he said, how can I be free if my people aren't free? And that's what we speak about Ubuntu. It means I am because you are. So I am is happy because you happy. I'm sad because you sad. I get my existence from your existence. We are one. What's my point? I'm on a mission to empower 1 billion people to set themselves free by 2030. Why? Because if they're not free, I'm not free. We are one. We are connected. So that's the best place to approach freedom, from a place of unity. And then next up, to unpack it. So at the Freedom Day, Bali event, I speak about the 3 levels of freedom. The first one is financial freedom. Like I've mentioned, you have enough assets to pay your bills. You don't have to worry about money, right? And the next one is choice freedom, that you have location independence. You can live where you want to live. Do with your time, with what you want to do with it. You choose who to work with. You have choice freedom. You don't have to work for your boss. You can actually choose your team members. You can choose your employees. You can choose your friends. You have choice freedom. And then right on the top there is emotional freedom, which you want to live a life of less stress, less trauma, less headaches, less complications. And that's what we speak about. Less is more, the minimalist life. That is true freedom when you're not attached to material things. And I do have material things, but I'm not attached to it. I can just lose it tomorrow. Who cares? I'm not attached to it. And it's not a consumer drone. So I do consume things, but I make sure that it's always, you create more than you consume. Because many people are broke because they are consumers. They don't create anything. The marketplace is just an exchange of value. The more you create, the more the marketplace will reward you. And it's actually when you put work out there, that you're setting yourself free from always consuming. And you break that cycle. So that's the levels of freedom, but it always begins with financial freedom, because if someone is starving, hungry, they're cold, you can't teach them these things. You need to feed them first. But then there comes a time where you must speak about purpose and vision, because then they will always be stuck in survival mode. So that's why we need to know, okay, so financial freedom is not the end goal. It's the means goal to get to the end goal. What's the end goal? That's freedom of choice, and that's emotional freedom.
You know, the different levels of freedom. And for those of you which have watched this before, will remember one of the videos that we've done already with Richard. We've gone quite deep into this. But this thing about, choice freedom, I find fascinating, but we'll get to that. So there might be people watching now thinking, Richard, it sounds great. At 24, you were financially free. What would you know about what it's like to struggle? What would you know about what it's like to just survive? Right now, I'm in a difficult time. What would you know? So to those people who say, where were you? How did you, have you ever struggled before in your life, and what did you do? And then secondary to that, what have you found are the biggest causes of people remaining broke?
Sure. How long have you got? I think, is it okay if we go to the beginning? Not right to the beginning when I was born, not to the beginning when I left college. Okay. So I wasn't raised with money. I never came from money. I went to college on a bursary, a scholarship. I got a degree in investments and finance. But the very first paycheck I received, in my first job after college as a junior investment analyst, my very first paycheck I received, I blew it. I blew it because I wasn't used to money. And I remember looking at my first paycheck, the numbers on the screen, and I thought, I've arrived, my first paycheck. And I thought, I've arrived. I'm a rich man. And I just blew it. And then after 2 years, I was just spending money like a crazy person. And then after 2 years, I found myself deep in debt, almost $100,000 in debt, deep in debt. And I couldn't approach my friends because it would have been the blind leading the blind, because my friend was also in debt and broke. And like I shared at Freedom Day, Bali, I actually had a lot of shame and embarrassment because I was the firstborn, the first one with a degree, and I'm the one that's broke and in debt. So I kept it to myself because I didn't want to share it with anyone. So I was walking around with a lot of shame and secrecy, and that's what actually fueled the debt. And then one moment, I remember this night so clearly. I mean, like this was more than a decade ago, and I still remember it so clearly because it changed me. And they say when you have an encounter, you're never the same. And I had this encounter, and I hope people catch this. Like you opened and said, inspiration is not taught, it's caught. You have two people, you tell them the same thing. The one person won't be touched, the other one will be changed forever. You're telling them the same thing. The one will catch it. And I was lying on my bed, and I was looking at my debt. I was looking at my paycheck, and the numbers weren't adding up. Thought, there's no ways. Look how much I owe. Look at how much I'm making. There's no way here. There's no way out. And then I realized, what if I just change my focus? If I take my focus off the debt and put the focus on is how to make more money. What if I do that? And the craziest thing happened. I began to make more money. Because what I was doing was, by focusing on the debt every night, I was fueling that debt with my energy. Because what we focus on expands and manifests. The day I shifted my focus is onto something that can actually help me, my life changed forever. Why am I saying this? Because many times when you speak to people, they're like, Richard, you don't know my story. You sit with the victim, you get the victim story. You don't know my story. Then they whip out a long list of complaints. Who did what to them? What happened when? Who stole from them? Who lied to them? And I'm not saying it's real. It's valid. And they'll tell you how they feel. It's valid. It's valid. I have the 5 minutes rule. I feel angry for 5 minutes. And then I get up and I move. Because it's either you keep your emotions or you go for progress. But you don't get to have both. And when I was lying on my bed that night, when I changed my focus, it's off my story, off the victim story, off the victimhood. It's onto what is the possibilities. My life went up and up and up. But you have to ask yourself an empowering question. How can I make more money? What do most people do when they down in the dumps, when they hit rock bottom? They ask themselves a disempowering question. Why me? How could I let this happen again? How could I be so stupid? How could I do this again? And what do? You start spiraling down and down and down. The only way out when you're in a rough spot is to ask yourself empowering questions. What if I change my focus? What if the universe has my back? What if there's abundance out there? You know what? One of my friends said, Richard, I feel so stuck. I feel so blocked. I said, my brother, that is an illusion. Because no such universe exists. The universe is abundant. That's the only universe that exists. There's abundant possibilities out there. All you need is a change of perception, change of focus, change of mindset, change of environment, so you can see the truth. And the truth is the universe is abundant.
You know, that problems, progress, perception, possibility. You know, I'm sure you could think of like a fifth one, right? The 5 Ps.
You got a book there. The 5 Ps to success.
It's a book right there, the 5 Ps. You know, so then, you know, we get a sense, right, that there you were, you studied about money, you found yourself deep in debt, you realized that there's one of these moments, one of these defining moments that we all have, right? If we recognize that life is working for us, not against us, that life is setting us up, not setting us back, but it's a perception thing, right? So you mentioned about, you know, and you were the one, you know, like it's not taught, it's caught, right? But you caught it that night, realizing that your debt and what you were earning were not matching. So you decided at that moment, hey, I need to focus on shift on how can I solve this, and therefore the empowering questions coming in as opposed to the disempowering questions, almost like, you know, like you rub your head. I can do it, you can't. You like you rub your head.
I can if I take up the wheel.
I know, brother. And it's like your head is like a magic lamp, and the genie pops out and says, hey, your wish is my command. You have 3 wishes. And you say, why is it that I'm always poor? Why is it I can never work it out? Disempowering questions, right? So the genie gives you those answers. Hey, well, here's the reason why you're a screw up, because of this, and this. And you go, okay. And so it's this self-perpetuating mission, whereas if you're rubbing your head, the genie comes out and you ask yourself an empowering question, like you're saying before, like, because your brain is like this supercomputer, like this warrior hunter. You give it something, it will chew on it until it finds the answer. And what you're saying is, in a different way, is that that's what you did that night when you're sitting on your bed. You're like, you know what? I need to find a solution. How can I make more money? How can I find the strength, the power to pay this off? How can I find a vehicle, a tool that will get me there? You know, which I find, you know, incredibly powerful. I mean, I can relate to all of this stuff. So then moving on from there, you know, we spoke about, you know, some of the largest things that hold people back. Now we've spoken about perception. We've spoken about mindset. we've spoken about the shame that you would have felt, and the fact that you wanted to hide away from people. Maybe people ask you questions and you wouldn't, oh yeah, like this aspect of us that wants to look good. I look good. If people ask me how I am, I don't want to tell them how I'm really feeling. I want to tell them something that makes me look good, so they look at me in a different way. So what would you say, are some of the other culprits, that people that are taking themselves circling the drain down, what other things would you say are coming up in their mindset? And I'm asking this in a way so those people that are feeling this then have got a reference point in a way of like, well, if I'm asking myself this, that's a checkpoint. I need to turn it around. So what would you say are some of those other culprits that people who find themselves in this position are telling to themselves?
Yeah, look, many people, they're afraid to go deep. And I was there. Afraid to go deep because I'm afraid of what I might find. So I'm always hanging out with friends, hanging out with people, always busy. But what I found out was the busier I was, the more broke I was. And when you look at wealthy people, they have freedom of time. If you look at broke people, always busy. I don't know what they're busy with, but they're always busy. And that busyness, it's a self-defense mechanism to ask the deep questions and to have the deep conversations that we are having here now. And I used to live my life on the surface until I went deep. So the way to build wealth is to deconstruct everything to the core. It's like, why am I broke? Because I'm a compulsive spender. Okay, why am I a compulsive spender? No, because I just have these other friends that are compulsive spender. We just shop on weekends, we shop online, we compete with each other, we are just consumers. Okay, why do I have friends that are compulsive spenders? It's because I need something to compete with. It just makes me feel alive. I love the competition. I get a thrill out of it. Why do I like to compete? Because I like to prove a point to someone that I'm successful. Why do I feel I have to prove to other people with my stuff? Because I want to feel like I belong. I want to feel like I belong. And that's exactly what I did. When people asked, how did you get into so much debt? I said, bad lifestyle, bad friends. That was the truth on the surface level. But when I asked why, it wasn't about my friends. It was, I never felt like I belong. So I was buying all this stuff, all these toys to say, hey, look at me. Please, now will you accept me? Please, now will you see me? Meanwhile, they weren't even worried about me because they are worried about their own stuff. Because everyone is focused on themselves. I wonder what they think. And it's only when I went down to the core that, you know what? Wherever I am, I belong. I don't have to pay an admission fee. I don't need to come with my toys, my gadgets. I can just show up as me. I'm enough. Just the way I am. I'm enough. And those that catch that will be your friends. But those that you have to buy stuff to put on this impress attitude and image, it's a dead end. And it's the quickest way to go in broke. And I've said all of that to say this, that many people are broke because they is always living in the sand and the mud, the surface, playing in the dirt. But the gold and the oil is deep. It's deep. If you want to get to that wealth, you got to dig deep. And inside everyone is deep reservoirs of wealth. It's deep. But you have to sit by yourself and start digging. What do I have that is unique? What do I have that I can use to serve? And don't stop there. Once you find that thing, how can I sharpen it so that it will be worth someone that will exchange their hard-earned money for the service that you're providing? But it's all putting the focus inward. What do I have to give? And how can I sharpen that every day so when I give it, it's from a place of excellence? So you'll hear many people complaining about the economy, complaining about the competition. That's for broke people. Wealthy people, we're not victims of this economy. We create our own economy every single day. Where? Between our 2 ears, our mind. That's the only economy that's real. Forget all the media, forget what everyone's saying. The only economy that's real is your mindset. Mind is a garden. Plant it with the best seeds, and you will reap the best fruits. But what do people do? They plant their minds with garbage. And they plant their minds with opinions from broke people, advice from broke people. And many people, they've done that exercise. Why am I always broke? Because I can't keep money. Why can't I keep money? Oh, because I have a poverty mindset. Why do I have a poverty mindset? Because everyone that raised me had a poverty mindset. There it is. Tracked it down to the root. And their story doesn't have to be your story. They were raised in a different time, through multiple wars, through multiple famines, through who knows what else. Their story doesn't have to be your story. You can have a unique story, but you have to sow unique seeds in your mind. That's why I just fill my mind with billionaires. I don't have time to read the newspapers that's written by journalists that are broke. For what? Put on the news and listen to broke reporters. For what? Then I just manifest more brokenness. I just read one magazine, and that's FORBES Magazine. It's a magazine about billionaires. And if someone has the fruits of spirituality, you get into their space. Because what everyone says is seeds. It gets into our thinking, our behaviors. Let them sow into your life. But you want to get into spaces that is quality seeds for this fertile soil that's in you. And I've helped thousands of people just change their relationship with money by deconstructing everything to the core. And then they found out, oh my word, that broke belief, I got it from this broke uncle when I was 6 years old. It's crazy. But once you get to the root, you can change it. Many people want to change the fruit. Can't change the fruit. Change the seed. Then you realize, oh my word, I've been planting toxic seeds. No more. Not today. From this day on, I'll start to sow the highest, most quality seeds into this fertile soil. And then the fruits is a natural effect from the change of seeds. But you got to do the work to go deep. And many times we disguise it. They must be at every party, must be at every event. They must always be there, running from themselves. And many times COVID was a chance for people to sit with themselves and find out, who am I? Why am I here? What is my mission? So when COVID ends, and it will, they can emerge with someone that's more purposeful, someone that's more focused. If that happens, then COVID will be your biggest blessing on the planet. Not a crisis, but a blessing.
You know, there's quite a few questions that come up. One of them, so there might be people here, and in a minute what we'll do is we'll get to the different levels. So right now we're dealing with the financial independence or the financial security level, moving towards freedom. And we've gone through some of the traps and the pitfalls there. So one question would be for those watching, okay, so I've gone deep. I realized that I inherited this belief from my mom, dad, great grandfather, or whoever it was. I inherited it. I understand that I need to turn my attention towards filling my garden with all of the different varieties of plants and flowers which can help me to aspire to become my seed, to grow, to become something, a billionaire, whatever it might be. Okay, got that. But then if I asked you, how do you do it? Because, maybe they're there already philosophically, but then how do they get there? What are some of the, I don't really want to use the word tools, but in a way that's what comes up. So what's tools that people can use to take themselves from there to there, and then after we get into the next level and what the particular challenges are there. But let's finish this level off with that question.
Yeah. I love that question, my brother. I love it. And I get you totally what you were saying. How do we take this out of the kingdom of philosophy and make it practical? Because there's many people with a vision, but they never do anything. So it's a fantasy. I meet those people all the time. They're like, Richard, I want to be, okay, what are you doing? It's a fantasy. And then you get the flip side. You get people that just do random stuff. They have no vision, and that's chaos. So there's the two extremes. There's the people that's living in their own, they know what to do, but they're broke. And then you get people that are doing things every single day, but they also broke. So you want to ask yourself, what is my North Star? Right? What is my target? So I teach this is how to work out your financial freedom number. But let's just say you need $5 million, then you'll be financially free for the rest of your life, right? So now you have a North Star. That's maybe your vision. When I hit that number, I'm financially free. Because if you can't quantify it, you don't know what you're shooting for. So you're just floating around every day. When you have a North Star, it'll be very easy to notice, wait a minute, I'm way off on the far left. I'm way off on the far right. That North Star keeps you on track. So you said, let's start with financial freedom. Okay. So financial freedom, my North Star is the $5 million. For choice freedom, you'll have a different North Star, right? But this is only for financial freedom. Your North Star is $5 million US. Then you got to put a timeline on there, some sort of timeline. Will it be in the next 5 years, the next decade, the next 50 years? Because without it might be in your next lifetime. Maybe when I come back as a butterfly, I'll be financially free. You have to put a deadline on it. Is it in this lifetime or the next lifetime? I mean, there's many people that believe, no, it's okay if I'm broke now. One day in heaven, I'll be rich. It's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of BS. This life, right now. You can be financially free right now. Not one day after death. So you got to put a timeline on it. Let's say you pick a decade, right? Richard, I don't want to work until I'm 65 or 70. In the next 10 years, I want to hit 5 million. Now, you have a decade. Now you have time. Now you have space. Because many people they have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, which is fine. But then they just act from a place of desperation, a place of impulse, a place of instinct. You don't want to live like that. You want to live with intuition. You want to live with patience. And that's why there's a famous quote that says, many people overestimate what they do in 1 year, and they underestimate what you can do in a decade. That's why his mission is a 10-year mission to empower 1 billion people with the tools to set themselves financially free by 2030. So I got time. I'm not impulsive. I'm not rash. I'm not desperate. Many people, they lose money financially because they were desperate. They never took the time to read things properly, think things through, research. So you have a North Star, you have a decade to get there. And then you ask yourself, who are the people that can support me to get to my North Star? Spend time with them. Well, who are the people that will laugh at my vision, laugh at my dreams? You got to slowly spend less and less time with them. Many people have visions. They never manifest them because they never change their whole ecosystem. You got to break down everything in your ecosystem and rebuild it from the bottom up because you have a whole new vision. You're a whole new person now. You're going for $5 million in 10 years. You haven't even earned 10K in a month. You need to break down everything. You need to reset everything. And you ask, who are the key people that will support this vision, this dream? How to invest in that? Because your network is your net worth. People are broke because they take advice from broke people. Wealthy people are wealthy because they take advice from each other. So make sure your network supports your new vision. And then I'll say the last step, which is the most important. You need to be honest with yourself every day. Every day. You need to ask yourself, am I continually becoming the person for my vision? I have a $5 million vision. Am I becoming that person every day? What do I mean? A $5 million man won't moan about the $3 they spent on a coffee. They won't moan about petty things. They won't complain and be negative. They are big thinkers. And it's not like judging ourselves. It's just we're becoming self-aware. It's every day. We create on 3 levels: our thoughts, our words, and our actions. You want to create that $5 million a decade from now. Make sure your thoughts, your words, and your actions is in alignment. Many people mess up manifestation because they're out of alignment. They might have the vision, but what comes out of their mouth is broke speech, broke conversations, negativity. Or they might have the vision, they might have these affirmations, but they never do anything. And that's what we do. It's every single day. We're just becoming aware of, is my thoughts, my words, and my actions is in alignment to where I want to be a decade from now. And I mean, the most practical tool I use is journaling. I try to journal every single day. You can literally journal your way to your first $1 million because you're literally writing down your vision. All geniuses have journals. It's Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Nelson Mandela. What did he do for 27 years in prison? He wrote. It's the best way to get all that emotion out of you and express yourself through journaling. Yes, I hope that was practical enough for you, my brother.
Very much so. Now, but one secondary question that will answer 2 questions. So one is, what do you mean by journaling? Because some people here have heard journaling, too embarrassed to ask. So that's one part of it. What do you mean by journaling? And the second part, actually, let's just deal with that one first. So by journaling, what do you mean exactly?
I know it's unique for everyone. I can just speak from my personal experience. So it's just a book, a diary with lines, and I begin every day with what I'm grateful for, because that's a good starting point. Because some days you wake up with the world, next day you woke up, did something right over me in my dreams, but I'm as stiff as a rock. What happened? So we wake up differently. It's every single day. So I start with gratitude every day because that lifts me into the right vibration. Usually thankful for things that money can't buy. Just gratitude. And then from there, I then write about what am I feeling that needs to come out. So like now I have this cough thing. What is my body trying to tell me? Maybe I'm at time for isolation. Maybe it's time to write more. But it's not right or wrong. It's just signals. What is my body signaling? Write that down. It's the same with emotions. There's no right or wrong emotion. It's just feelings. Write it down. Let it out. And so that's just what I call freestyle writing. Just writing about what I feel. Never going to read it again, so who cares? Just let it out. Let it out. And then once it's all out, then I write down my vision of the life that I see. And I hold that vision every day until it manifests. And like Jim Carrey was famous for this. He wrote himself a check for $10 million. He held that check in his wallet, and a decade later, it manifested. I had a vision that one day I will be interviewed by FORBES Magazine, held that vision, moved to Bali. 5 years later, in FORBES Magazine, alongside Warren Buffett, which was my number one mentor in business and investments since college, manifested because I held that vision. Took me 5 years, but it happened. And then you can write down the steps. Okay, what's the smallest step I can do to make this vision a reality today? We're not in for leaps and bounds, baby steps. What's the smallest thing I can do today that's in alignment with the vision? And that's all in my journal.
That's very practical, man. So the other question which I had was about calculating this financial freedom number that you said was 5 million for an example. So just quickly, how would someone calculate that number?
Well, they'll have to pay me first. No, I'm joking. Only kidding. Look, to work out your financial freedom number, it's different for everyone because everyone has different lifestyles. So for one person, they might get $10 million and still not be financially free because their lifestyle is 11 million. $10 million, but they're 1 million in debt. So it all depends what is your level of lifestyle. So what you want to do is say, okay, Richard, you know what, honestly, is if I get $10,000 from my assets every month, that's enough to pay my living expenses, my family needs, emergencies. 10K per month, I'm good. Then I can quit my job, not tomorrow morning, tonight. I'll message my boss tonight, I'm out. 10K a month. Right. You take that 10K, you multiply it by 12. You get to 120K. That's what's known as known as your annual passive income. So the day your assets is worth 120K, that means you're financially free for 1 year. Because for 1 year, you don't have to work and you can pull 10K each month. You still with me? Then you can take that annual passive income goal of 120K, you divide it by 0.08. So that 8% is the safe to use for your growth is after inflation and taxes and fees. So to get that 8% after fees is not going to happen through a savings account. You got to go into real assets. It's not going to happen through your broker. The broker is just going to make you broke. You got to do the work and you got to find out assets that grow so that you can get 8% return after fees, inflation, taxes, all of that, 8% net. So if you take your 120K and 0.08, should be left with $5 million. The day your net worth is $5 million, you're financially free for life.
Got it.
And you know what? Some people will never get there, not because they don't have the smarts. They were never taught to focus on net worth. They were taught to focus on net income. That's where they broke. What is your takeaway money is after your deduction stuff. What do you come home with? That's why they never reach financial freedom, because the pathway to financial freedom is not through net income, it's through net worth. And that's why I tell parents, young kids from a young age, teach them about net worth, the value of your assets, not your paycheck. Paychecks is for broke people. It's a good way to start and learn experience, build your networks, to get the cash, to get into assets. But there comes a time where you need to shift the focus off your paycheck and onto net worth. Because I was in debt, focus was in the wrong place. I shift the focus. I became debt free. I tell people that focus is more important than intelligence. People are so intelligent, but they're wasting their time searching the latest conspiracy theories. Like, conspiracies is for broke and bored people. They're researching who killed the dinosaurs. A belly button. Who cares? Your time on this earth is limited. Shift your focus into the right places and you'll get the results that you want. Your focus is more important than intelligence. The way to grow your net worth is to put the focus on your net worth and not on how much money you can earn. That's a good place to start, but you'll never get to financial freedom with that mentality. Remember, to get to financial freedom, your assets must do the earning, not you. I just want to say this one last point. Many people say, Richard, $5 million. How the hell am I going to work to get there? You were never meant to work to get there. Your assets were meant to work to get there. Your assets work for your retirement, not you. But we were never taught, because the top 1% needs workers. We're still using the factory-based education system. That's why people are broke.
So that's the level of financial freedom, right? And the next one up was that choice freedom, right? So,
yeah.
So now we're in Bali, right, which is obviously a beautiful island, right? And some would argue very spiritual. And as we move into the second and some of the things which they're facing, when I ask you spiritual and money, what comes up for you?
Spiritual and money. One word, to give it away. Okay, I think that's like 3 words. But yeah, give it away. You know what? I used to be in a religion where it was noble to be broke. Like, the broker you are, the closer you are to God. It's a bunch of nonsense. Because the more blessed you are, the more you can be the blessing. Because if someone is hungry and naked, you actually have money to buy them food and buy them clothes. You don't just pray for them and buy and then, oh, I hope God's going to help them. No, you have resources, tools, and wisdom. You are able to be that channel because you are blessed. So I tell people, money and spirituality, they don't work against each other. They fuel each other. Like, what? They fuel each other. The more money you have, the more spiritual you can be. Because now you can take your faith and your religion outside of the church and be practical. You can actually build schools, build hospitals, build businesses that can end people. Like, I have 4 investment portfolios, and the 4th one is just a giving account. All the returns I make there, it's to give away. Because the ultimate purpose of money is to give it all away. Because when we die, we can't take any of this with us. But I can only speak from the religion that I come from. I can't speak for other religions and faiths, but from the religion that I come from, we taught that money is the root of all evil. No. They saying that because they broke. And it's not money that's the root of all evil, it's love of money. I don't love money. It's just a tool. No matter how much money that I make on my stocks, is always wet. A pipe that distributes water is always wet. If you take care of people and those around, you will always be taken care of. Always. It's a universal law. What you put out comes back multiplied. But what do people do? Like, Richard, I want money, I want money. Why? So you can just spend it or you can just hoard it. You're not going to get money. The universe is progressive. It's looking for channels that can express that progressiveness. And that's why people that have money get more money. I mean, there's a scripture that says, him that has, more will be given. Him that doesn't have, the little that he has will be taken. You're like, oh shit, that's hardcore, but it's the truth. If you don't value money, you lose it. If you know what to do with it, you get more of it. People think wealthy people are rich by this accident. And I'm not speaking about those people that inherit money. I don't even read about those people because I can learn nothing. I read about rags to riches, from 0 to 1 million, people that came from nothing. And what you find out is they are just always willing to be a channel. They're not trying to play it safe or trying to bury their money or hoard their money. And that's why I tell people the best way, if you have that attachment to money, the best way to break that is to give. The best way, because you send in the opposite energy. And that's why I don't have money. It doesn't have me. I have money. I'm in control of money. Money is not in control of me. I have the right relationship of money. And that's why I get more and more money. People, they don't have money or they lose money because they have a toxic relationship with money. And I mean, if you want to get to the root of that, it's identity. It's identity. We've seen people that won the lotto. A decade later, they broke. There's a guy that won the lottery twice and he went bankrupt. Twice. They're like, he had all these millions. How come you lost it all? Because he had money, but he had a poverty mindset and a poverty consciousness. Wealth can't mix with a poverty mindset and consciousness. The same like water and gasoline can't mix, two different substances. If you give a broke person money, they'll just waste it. You need to change your mindset, change your consciousness, change your habits. And then you'll be able to grow and multiply that money and not just waste it. Or worse, be like a celebrity and that money will ruin you because you don't know the purpose of that money was to be a channel. So it consumed you.
You know, what I came across again the other day was this understanding of value, right? So a lot of people aspire to be different things. And what came through was, you know, this ability and desire to aspire to be a person of value, right? I'm talking about now the financial freedom aspect, and then we'll move on to the next one. You know, so by being a person of value, currency, in whichever form that takes, finds you, right? Because you are a person of value. But then what you're saying is that then the key thing here is your personal value, but with that value creates more value. So you, in other words, you start to, and we move up to the next part now, is that you start to find the vehicles that take that value to a whole nother level. So it's no longer you doing the work. It's the vehicles and the vehicles basically that you've found as you become the channel that do that work for you. Is that true for you?
Yes, you have to become the channel. Because if you're going to store and consume and hoard, you're going to be a very miserable person because nothing is flowing. And that is the root cause of why there's so much imbalance in this world economically. I can say this because I'm not there live in the room, so no one can attack me. Just joking. I'm safe in my villa, so I can say this. But I mean, honestly, every decade there's a recession, there's a crisis, there's a crash. Why? We've had one in 2008 with the subprime mortgage financial meltdown. We've had one in the 2000s with the dot-com bubble. If you track it all the way back to the Great Depression, we've had a crisis and a recession every decade. Why? If we go to the root, and you are brothers, so I can say this, you will relate, that how they built wealth in the past was on the backs of slaves. How they built their wealth in the past was depleting the wealth of other countries. So the whole financial system has this massive hole in it. And that's why it's every decade the thing crashes. So now, like, you can't not use the financial system because we're all a part of it. You just have to approach it with the opposite energy. That the goal of me in the system is not to money grab just for myself, me and my family. Because then I'm just the same as the previous colonizers and slave owners. I approach it with, how can we all win? How can we all share this wealth so that no one is exploited? How can we have collective success and not just individual success? And the only way to do that is to be a channel that what comes in goes out. And that's why I tell people that I don't spend money, I circulate money. Because if you spend it, it's gone. When you circulate it, it comes back. So because this financial system is broken, because it was built on exploitation, and the only way to fix it is for the whole thing to completely collapse, completely, and start rebuilding from the ground up. Until that happens, we need to be one of the good ones. And that's what a philanthropist is, that they use their wealth for good. You're not a go-getter, you're a go-giver. You let go of that masculine energy of, we all have to compete for scarce resources. That's a starvation economy. That's an illusion. That's a lie. The economy is abundant. There's enough money out there to solve starvation right now, but the channels are blocked intentionally. So we need to realize is there's no point in competing because there's abundance. There's enough for everyone. And then if I'm up a level, how can I bring other people with me? When I'm on the next level, how can I bring other people with me? We rise by lifting others up. And if we bring that into the marketplace, if we bring Ubuntu into the marketplace, if we bring feminine energy into the marketplace, and that's how we need more women to teach about finances and business and wealth. We've had enough of the masculine. That has just led to wars, exploitation, famines, deforestation. We've had enough of the old way. We need this opposite energy. And when people say, Richard, how do I solve my money problems? Become a giver. It plays with the old thinking. What do you mean I need money? You're telling me to give. Yes. Because you have the wrong relationship with money. For you, money is my survival, my saliva, my livelihood. If I don't have money, I'm on the streets. That's the wrong mindset to approach business and wealth. It's the wrong mindset. It's irrational. You want to be a giver. And then you want to play the long game. All wealthy people play the long game. Don't just look for short-term profits. Play the long game. Build wealth for the next generations. Play the long game. And most importantly, make sure that what you're doing, how you're making your money, how you're building your wealth, that all the stakeholders involved benefits. The local people are benefiting. Your employees are benefiting. Your clients are benefiting. Your friends, your family is benefiting. So it's win-win for all. If we can do that, money will make your life so much more richer, so much more spiritual, because you are done with the old way of making profits and making money. That needs to die.
What comes up is, like, what kind of world would you like to see?
Yeah. It's actually sad for me because we're so far from that. The world that I would like to see is a world of real connection. So whether I live in one continent, you live in the next continent, even though we speak a different language, have a different flag, have a different religion, we're still connected. We're still brothers. We're still sisters. I would like to see a world where we bring connection back, because when I have connection, I know if I'm harming you, I'm harming myself, because we're connected. If I rob you, I'm robbing myself. So I'd like to see a world of back to that Ubuntu, which is oneness. And we see it now with the space race, with billionaires competing with each other. Who can be first in space? When you look at what humanity is like going through right now, it's a slap in the face. And it shows us how like disconnected we are. That the only reason I board a rocket and spend billions on the backs of employees that I got that money from, while people are starving in the rest of the world, the only reason I can do that is because I'm so far disconnected from them. So I'd like to see a world that we're more connected as human beings, Homo sapiens. Stop putting the focus on what separates us and put the focus on what connects us. And people are saying they think COVID connected us because whether you're rich or poor, you were affected by this virus the same. That's a lie. It showed us the gaps of privilege, how big it is. And if you have privilege, you're a bit better. If you have no privilege, you don't stand a chance. And so I'd like a world that's more connected with each other, oneness. Yeah. And also with that space race thing, as a reminder to people that no one else will take care of you. Those billionaires don't care about you. You have to use the tools that's available. Use this interview, use the courses, use books, coaches and mentors. Use what you can, because financial freedom, you got to set yourself free. No one will come around and set you free. You need to set yourself free. They are flying to space. It's like Noah's Ark and we're not on it. So you got to make sure that you have financial freedom, your family, people that you love, because they don't care about you.
Freedom Day Bali, what's that about, right? So we've gone through, some of the different levels. We don't want to give everything. Not enough time for everything. So we've gone through the different levels, right? We've gone through, a portion of what you need to do. Some very practical tips to get you on the road to doing it, right? We've spoken about that spirit connection, and I love your vision, of the future, of a future that you'd like to see. It's concerning that we're quite far away from it, though I see other things as well. So then Freedom Day Bali, right? It will be not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday here at Tropical Nomad, and you can come and see it live. What will you be talking about, and why is that important?
Yeah, so what will happen? I think on Wednesday, it's a SpeakuP special. So it will be a lot more concise and sharp and to the point. So the previous Freedom Day Bali, I think I spoke for over 3 hours. So this one, it won't be that long. I think I'll be speaking for like 60 to 90 minutes. And I'll be basically, you know what happened? I went into the Forbes wealthiest people of the world because I'm obsessed with the Forbes list because I believe success leaves clues. And I found strategies, tools that the wealthy have been using for decades and centuries to multiply their wealth that was never taught in the schools or the colleges. It was a secret amongst themselves. And next week, I'll be sharing my top 3 secrets of why the top 1% rich are becoming richer. So you guys don't want to miss that. You want to bring a notepad, a iPad, whatever, write on your arm, whatever you want to write this down. You want to write this down because I applied this in my life. In 3.5 years, I became financially free. So I actually applied this and it worked. And I never became financially free once. I'm 33 now, so it's my 9th year of financial freedom. I've managed to sustain this for 9 years now. But I had the tools. I had the strategies. And that's what I'll be sharing. Because it's no point in just me being financially free and you not. I'm not free unless we all are free. And that's why I am always saying yes to Robert for these things, because it's what I believe in. Empowerment. Empowerment, that I'm in that stage now where we got to. People are looking for mentors, looking for coaches, they're looking for advisors, but all they get is a bunch of broke people. If you want retirement advice, you go from someone that is actually retired. If you want relationship advice, you go from someone that's actually is in a happy relationship. We know this. If you want health advice, we go to someone that's healthy. But people want money advice and they go to broke coaches, broke advisors, then they wonder why they're broke. What I learned was straight from the billionaires in Forbes Magazine. If you want to be wealthy, take advice from other wealthy people. You judge a tree by its fruits.
You know, what comes up, right, is a lot of the time we focus on this rags to riches, right, what we call rags to riches. Now, there are some people who are already past that, right, so they've already made their money, a lot of it. They've got the assets, the vehicles which are bringing the money in. So then, but there's something missing. They feel like, maybe I don't feel as happy as I believe I should feel. So to those people there, so not talking now to the people which are rags and trying to find their way up. We're talking to people who have already made it from that perspective. So what is it that you can offer to those people there and why?
Now, that's a great question because many people never think past that level. When they're financially free, now what? And I speak about, you got to find a goal that's worthy of your soul. Got to find a goal that's worthy of your soul. People reach their goals and they're like, Richard, I don't understand. I reach all my goals. I feel I'm so unfulfilled. I got the money, I got the houses. You know, there was a guy that asked this millionaire, when do you think you'll feel wealthy? And he says, I think I'll feel wealthy when I have 10 million US dollars. And then the guy got to 10 million and he said, when will you feel wealthy? And he's like, I think I'll feel wealthy when I have my own private jet. And then he got the private jet, and the guy's like, "Do you feel wealthy now?" It's like, "I think I'll feel wealthy when my jet seats more than 6 people." Money can't fulfill you. It can do a lot of things, but it can't fulfill you. The only thing that will fulfill you is when you find a goal that's somewhere along the line you took on other people's goals, you did a copy and paste, or wanted to become what your mother wanted you to become. It was goals from the outside. It wasn't a goal from the soul. And one of the most empowering questions you can ask yourself to put you on this path to find out what is the goal of my soul is to ask yourself, and I mean honestly, practically right now, what is the difference that you want to make on this planet? What is the difference that you want your life to make? That difference is a goal that's worthy of your soul. And that's the goal that will fulfill you, which money can't do.
Got it, you know. And one of the other things which I loved about what you're saying is this idea about time, right? This realization that, you know, what is it? In 1 year, we tend to overestimate what we can achieve, and in 10 years, we underestimate what we can achieve. So I know that you support people, and I think it's for a year minimum, right? You support people to go through this process of becoming, right? So can you tell us a little bit about that for those people that might be watching this and say, hey, I get it, I get you. I don't want to wait until Wednesday week. I want it now. Give it to me now. I want the juice now. So how can I work with you? How can I get in touch with you? How can I be supported by you? How can I get more of you? What would you say?
Yeah, that's why we always say that a revelation is taught. Revelation is caught, not taught. If you caught what we were saying here today, if it resonated with you, then you guys can have a look at it's innercirclebali.com. And it's only for people that are willing to make a commitment for 1 year. They're willing to do what it takes to lift their net worth. And we're not looking for numbers. It's not looking for quantity. It's quality. It's over quantity. It's for people that this resonated with, people that are ready to make the change. So you can look at their website. It's Inner Circle, which I run. I share all my trainings there. I also share my stock picks with members, so you can just mirror me. You buy what I buy, you sell what I sell. So you don't buy random stocks out there. I share the stocks I buy. It's each month you can mirror me. And I have me and Kristen, my whole team, we're there to support you and to hold you accountable for at least 1 year. It takes at least 1 year to make real change. Give me at least 1 year, your life will never be the same. But it's not for everyone. If this resonates with you, you can check out the website. It's innercirclebali.com.
One of the other things which I love, I remember it was a conversation that we had a while ago about dabblers, you know, people that dabble. It just made me laugh.
Dabble here.
It's like I do a bit here, I do a bit here, I do a bit there. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So and I loved what you said about it. So maybe share that with us about the minimum time and the dabbler. Spread it.
I think for those of you who don't know, it was from my friend that he started a YouTube channel. And I said, yeah, that's great. Go for it. And then I met up with him later and I said, how's the YouTube channel? He's like, no, he gave that up. I'm like, why? It wasn't working. I'm like, what do you mean it wasn't working? I'm like, no, we tried it. I'm like, how long? 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks. You weren't happy with the views and you gave up. Dabblers. Always busy on the next thing, but as broke as a church mouse. Wealthy people are wealthy because they're willing to sit with something for at least 1 year and go deep and go deep. The gold and the oil is deep. We call it, there's two types of thinkers. There's horizontal thinkers and then vertical thinkers. If you want to build real wealth, and this works in finances and in spirituality, got to go deep. Got to do the inner work. You got to think vertical. You have to ask those why questions. And then you ask why again. The next level deep. Ask why again. Third level deep. Ask why again. Fourth level deep. Got to go deep. And I don't stop digging until I strike oil. Until I strike gold. It's there. Each individual, no matter what country we come from, South Africa or Indonesia, we're all born with deep reservoirs of wealth. Our potential is infinite. That's why I tell people, no matter what problems you're going through, your potential is always greater than your problem. Always. Your potential is infinite. You just have to focus on your potential a bit more and focus on your problems a bit less. You just got to focus on people that is actually successful in life a bit more and put the focus on the broke, haters, negative, broke hustlers. Pay them less of your time. Just put the focus on the right stuff. And you'll be amazed by the results you get. You're like, wow, did I do that? Yeah, and it was in you all along. And that's what we do. We just had to come by and just be the catalyst. But it was always there. It was just dormant. And we just come by to wake you. I can't shake you now because I'm not there. But that's what we do. Come to wake you up. Do you know that you have greatness within you? Do you know that you are abundant? Do you know your potential? Do you know? Stop playing it small. Life is short. Live big, live bold. That's the only way to live.
My brother, love it. So look, usually we get to ask questions, but I think that might be enough for today, unless someone really wants to ask a question. So, how we ended the show, for those who just arrived. So in about a minute and a half or so, Rich, you have opportunity to end the show on something that, something that maybe is resonating with you right now. It might be something that you've said already as a reminder, but something to leave us with, So it's been an interesting one, me usually having someone sat next to me. Now I'm looking at a screen. It's been like, okay, where am I? I'm not even sure if I've looked at you at all. I don't think I did, but there you go. Something different. So I will look at you now. So Tuesdays we have another stream. So it's Clubhouse. So tomorrow I'm going to be on the spot. That's going to be interesting. So 7 a.m. tomorrow, and it's called, interestingly enough, Inspiration is Caught, Not Taught. Inspiration is caught, not taught. And it's a collective deep dive panel Q&A. And there are some phenomenal people which will be there 7 a.m. And it's about, not passing on wisdom. It's about having a conversation and things come up that inspire you to take the next step in whichever direction that is that you feel the need to go, or you kind of know that you need to go. So that's tomorrow, 7 a.m. Then on Wednesday here in Bali, we have three like super souls, right? Three people which are on that mental health journey and are redefining the way that we look at mental health globally. Now, they've set up hotlines, they've set up bodies, movements, organizations that help to deal with mental health going on right now, which, as we know, is a huge challenge. So they're raising money. And so on Wednesday, they're going to be here live at Tropical Nomad. You can come and join us. And, you know, come and join and, like, just get around how inspired these guys are. I mean, Richard, much like myself, has got a mission to inspire 1 billion people by giving them the tools to become financially free. Now, these guys are inspiring people in a different way, but it's a very powerful, powerful way. So that's on Wednesday here, 6:30 GMT +8, that's Bali time, and work out the difference wherever you are. And so that's here on Wednesday. So feel free to join us either in person or online. And as you know, SpeakuP Monday group on Facebook, join that. Or SpeakuP Monday on Instagram is more of like a bulletin, lets you know what's going on. And there's some really great things coming. And as we know, a week on Wednesday will be a special, a SpeakuP special, which will be what we're talking about today as a preview, which is Freedom Day Bali. And it's a preview, Freedom Day Bali, okay?
No.
I love that. So now, thank you for coming. Thanks to Tropical Nomad for always being here and providing the tools and the juice. And thanks for you for listening in. Feel free to share this, of course. So now we're going to hand it back to Richard to see us out. And after that, I wish you the very best wherever you are in the world, either good morning or good evening. And thank you for tuning in. Over to you, my brother.
My brother, I just want to say, thank you again for inviting me back. It's always an honor to speak to you and your audiences, and we always have so much fun. I think like we're sharing so many, the same quotes now and the same vision and mission. People are thinking, are we reading the same books or do we go to the same university? No, guys, we're all tapping into that collective intelligence, that collective consciousness. This is what happens when you get with like-minded people. So I really just hope that you guys also find that network that really you deserve, because you deserve good friends, real friends, friends that will build you up and not break you down, friends that support you. You deserve that. You're worthy of that. And so I really just hope that you guys have that, or that you're getting that. And last minute remarks. I would just want to leave you guys, for those of you that's watching us live and that will watch the replay later, that no matter what you're going through right now, nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. Everything is seasonals, and seasons always change. And as the saying goes, winter never follows winter. Winter never follows winter. So your spring is coming, your new season is coming, and I'm excited for you. And I'll see you guys for Freedom Day, Bali, for the SpeakuP special. Bring your family or friends. It's more fun when it's shared. And he's looking forward to meet you guys. Once again, Rob, my brother, thank you so much for this opportunity. It was so much fun. And I'll see you soon in person. Much love.